Chapter 61. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This auxiliary ability is obviously used in conjunction with the demon servant. But with my current strength, there is no need to refine demon servants below the Xiantian realm. Gu Cheng sighed quietly. It seems that the matter of the demon servant should be considered slowly after he encounters a great demon in the Xiantian realm. After refining the spirit, the next step is to refine the body. Gu Cheng walked to the table, took out the 5 bottles of boiling blood powder from the storage bag, and lined them up neatly on the table. I heard from Xiao Yun's sister that the medicinal power of this bottle of boiling blood powder is equivalent to a demon core that breaks the mortal realm. If I eat all these 5 bottles of white flour, I should be able to upgrade the Blood Sword Sutra to the great perfection, right? Gu Cheng dipped a little powder with his finger, put it in his mouth, and licked it gently. A clear sweetness immediately spread on the tip of the tongue. I have to say that the taste of this boiling blood powder is much better than the demon core. At the same time, under the effect of the drug, the blood in Gu Cheng's body instantly boiled, like a pot of boiling water. Even his skin became red like a cooked prawn. Gu Cheng no longer hesitated and hurriedly poured his life into the Blood Sword Sutra. He dipped his fingers little by little, like eating snack residue, and sent the boiling blood powder into his mouth. Later, he felt that this way of taking drugs was too inefficient. He simply picked up the small porcelain bottle and drank it in one gulp. The records on the panel began to refresh frantically. 38th year. You have perfectly digested the power of the boiling blood powder, and completed the secondary feeding through your lifeblood soldier, and your physical strength has been significantly improved, but because the power of the boiling blood powder is too violent, you took a large amount of medicine at one time, which caused very serious side effects and greatly reduced your lifespan. Shortened your life by 50 years. Remaining lifespan, 791 years. Only 50 years of lifespan was shortened. Gu Cheng felt the power surging in his body, and couldn't help showing a happy expression. Just 1 tang yuan, compared with the extra consumption of 1 or 200 years after absorbing the demon core and going crazy. The side effects of this boiling blood powder are simply insignificant, if you count the time saved when refining the boiling blood powder. The 50 years of loss can be directly ignored. Gu Cheng's heart was slightly relieved, and while continuing to infuse lifespan, he raised his head and drank the 2nd bottle, the 3rd bottle, until the 4th bottle. The record on the panel finally changed. Year 317, under the dual strengthening of the brutal medicinal power of the 4 bottles of boiling blood powder and the feeding back of the life-blood soldier, your blood demon body has reached perfection, and the strength of the physical body has reached a new height, and it has even faintly touched the limit of its own absorption. Qi and Blood Sword Sutra, perfection, body refining, breaking the 9th level of the ordinary world, remaining lifespan, 474 years. Has it faintly touched the limit? Gu Cheng felt the powerful force in his body that was about to explode. He looked at the only remaining bottle of boiling blood powder on the table, thinking about something. After a moment of silence, Gu Cheng picked up the 5th small porcelain bottle and swallowed the powder inside. At the same time, he continued to pour his lifespan into the Blood Sword Sutra. 1st year. You continue to reverse the 2nd volume of the Blood Sword Sutra. Under the powerful medicinal power of the boiling blood powder, your blood demon body quickly reached its limit. With your current body refining realm, you can no longer absorb more energy. 17th year, the violent medicinal power is like a volcanic eruption, almost bursting your body. Fortunately, your natal blood soldier is in tune with your mind. Seeing that you cannot absorb it alone, he took the initiative to help you share it. You are thinking, and a bold idea comes to your mind. Year 213, after years of trying, you have found a new way. You perfectly merge your own body with your natal blood soldier, and burst out with power far beyond the limit. Your Blood Sword Sutra breaks through the limit and comprehends the ultimate meaning of martial arts. You summarize and name this skill, Immortal Demon Body. Immortal Demon Body, transform your natal blood soldier into dark blood demon armor and completely wrap yourself, greatly improve your own strength, defense, and the strength of the blood manipulation secret technique, and break through to a new height in a short period of time. Gu Cheng slowly opened his eyes. He stretched out his right hand forward, and his mind moved. The scarlet blood breath instantly lingered on his forearm and condensed into a dark red hand armor. The ferocious and domineering shape was like the claws of a blood demon, as if you would be dug out of your heart with one claw if you took a look at it. Gu Cheng gently moved his right hand, he clenched his 5 fingers tightly, and a low explosion sounded from the palm of his hand instantly, like a thunder. This grab, the power is so terrifying. What an outrageous increase. No wonder it is called immortal demon body. This shape and special effects are clearly the Armor Father's big move. Gu Cheng secretly complained in his heart, this only covers one right hand. If the dark blood demon armor covers the whole body, the momentum that escapes alone may shatter the furniture in this room. After reaching the extreme meaning of the second volume of Blood Sword Sutra, Gu Cheng's physical strength is already comparable to the demons in the innate realm. Once the immortal demon body is activated, it can burst out a terrifying power far beyond the limit in a short period of time. An ordinary innate master, as long as he gets close to him, will be killed by a set of moves. On the contrary, the defensive power of Gu Cheng's dark blood demon armor is surprisingly exaggerated. Even if he is surrounded and beaten by multiple innate masters, he can withstand the opponent's output and retreat calmly. With this trick, I have one more trump card to save my life. Gu Cheng nodded with satisfaction and waved his hand to disperse the blood armor on his right hand. The second volume of Blood Sword Sutra has reached its peak, but the cultivation of body refining is still only the 9th level of breaking the ordinary. It seems that if you want to break through to the Xiantian realm, you must practice the 3rd volume of Blood Sword Sutra. According to the information revealed by the residual soul of the Blood Lady, among the treasures she stole during the chaos, there was the extremely precious Xiantian realm technique. As long as you go to the secret base in Tianshui County, you can easily get it. I have more and more things to do. I have to participate in the assessment of the Demon Suppression Division headquarters, go to the auction house to find the dead wood dragon Song Zither, and go to the secret base of the Blood Lady to search for treasures. Gu Cheng smiled and shook his head, looking at his personal attribute panel. Host, Gu Cheng. Cultivation. Chi refining, Chi and blood level 9. Body refining, breaking through the ordinary level 9. Spirit refining, breaking through the ordinary level 9. Remaining lifespan, 261 years. Compared with body refining and spirit refining, this Chi refining level is already a whole realm behind. Gu Cheng sighed helplessly, just looking at this strange attribute that was created by spending thousands of years of life. It is impossible for a normal person to have it. No wonder Feng Sancher insisted that he was a Xiantian demon in human form. The next day, morning, Sun Yanxue leaned over the desk and gently put down the brush. After blowing the ink on the paper dry, she let out a long breath. She looked at the thick stack of handwritten manuscripts on the table, and a strong sense of accomplishment suddenly arose. Finally finished copying. Miss Su narrowed her eyes, raised her arms, and stretched her waist. Following her movements, a slightly loose top instantly highlights 2 round and upright curves on her chest, like 2 heavy peaches, tempting people to come and pick them. After Gu Cheng's careful feeding for so many days, this girl has obviously gained a lot of weight. However, it seems that she has grown the meat to the right place. Chapter 62. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Knock knock knock. Following a crisp knock on the door, Gu Cheng pushed the door open and walked in, holding a mahogany food box in his hand as usual. Sun Yanxue looked up and smiled knowingly. Gu Cheng was not at home a few days ago, and she had some withdrawal reactions without the owner feeding her every morning. Now that the owner is back, she can see the mahogany food box every day, and a familiar sense of security suddenly arises. Unconsciously, she has fallen in love with this monotonous but warm daily life. Sun Yanxue looked up and looked at Gu Cheng quietly. Seeing that he had not changed except for his handsome appearance, she felt relieved. Come to think of it, if this guy can improve his cultivation every now and then, it would be too abnormal, right? However, what Miss Su did not expect was the reason why she did not perceive the subtle changes in Gu Cheng this time. It was simply because the latter's spiritual cultivation was higher than hers, so there was no flaw at all. What? Have you finished copying this secret book? Gu Cheng put the mahogany lunch box on the table. Seeing that Sun Yanxue was not writing furiously today, his eyes moved slightly. He reached out to take a few secret books and flipped through them casually. I have copied them, but don't worry, I have to check them carefully a few more times. Su Nianxue was quite serious about her work and explained seriously. This ancestral spiritual killing move is extremely obscure and difficult to understand, and a slight mistake can lead to 1,000 miles of difference. If I make a mistake, and you practice it wrong and get into trouble, I can't bear the responsibility. It's okay, I believe you, you won't be wrong. Gu Cheng looked confident, because as he quickly flipped through the handwritten copy in his hand, the panel soon had new prompts: breaking the ordinary, treasure, Crimson Palace Heavenly Thunder Attraction, uninitiated. A precious secret method? Gu Cheng's breathing became rapid. Having practiced Blue Dragon 100 refining, he has personally experienced the value of the prefix treasure. It is not an exaggeration to say that it is an SSR among the secret manuals of the same level of skills. What's more, this secret method is still in the realm of breaking the ordinary. In terms of preciousness, it is even far above Blue Dragon 100 refining. If it were to be leaked to the outside world, it would definitely cause a bloody storm. After a moment of excitement, a hint of surprise flashed in Gu Cheng's eyes. This Miss Su has been copying for so many days, which made him a little suspicious. Is she deliberately fooling around? Who knew that the other party was so honest that she actually took out her family's golden signboard? This should be the thunder method of your Su family, right? You passed it to me so easily. Gu Cheng looked at Su Nianxue with suspicion. This gift was so valuable that it was hard not to think too much. Of course, you deserve it. Su Nianxue nodded slightly, her fair and pretty face full of seriousness. My Yunzhou Su family has always taken it as our responsibility to punish evil and eliminate evil. We never cherish our fellow practitioners. As long as you are talented and your character can be recognized by the Su family, even if you are a person of another surname, you can be granted the thunder method. Of course, this thunder method can only be learned by yourself, and cannot be passed on privately. Miss Su opened the food box, reached out and took out a steamed dumpling, and ate while admonishing. In addition, you must think clearly. When you learn the thunder method of my Su family, once you perform it in front of outsiders, you will automatically be labeled as the heir of the Su family. My Su family has an irreconcilable feud with many demons and evil forces. If you reveal that you know the thunder method, they may try every means to come to you for trouble. You must think clearly about this. There is such a good thing. After listening to Su Nianxue's persuasion, Gu Cheng was even more tempted. With his current speed of strength improvement, he probably shouldn't worry about demons and evil cultivators looking for trouble with him. Instead, he should worry about these demons and evil cultivators, which are simply not enough for him to kill. So Gu Cheng didn't hesitate at all and put all the thick stack of secret books into the storage bag. Su Nianxue had already expected the other party to have such a reaction, and with a slight smile on her lips, she added. The power of this soul-refining killing move is unparalleled, but the difficulty of practicing it is also beyond imagination. Under the careful guidance of the elders of my family, it took me nearly 2.5 years to achieve a little success. Your talent for soul refining is much stronger than mine. I'm afraid you can catch up with my progress in about a year, right? Su Nianxue analyzed like this. She has overestimated the other party's talent as much as possible, but unfortunately, this Su the eldest lady knows nothing about the world of cheaters. Gu Cheng smiled slightly and did not answer. 1 year? What a joke! If he had not had too little remaining lifespan, I am afraid Su Nianxue would not have finished eating this tray of steamed dumplings. He has already mastered the Crimson Palace Heavenly Thunder Guide to perfection. After consulting Su Nianxue briefly about the experience of practicing thunder magic, Gu Cheng walked out of the house and reported to the Demon Suppression Department. As soon as he stepped into the gate of the Demon Suppression Department, 2 small flag officers who had been waiting at the door for a long time immediately came up and respectfully invited him to the Qianhu office. Qianhu Zhao was not in the study this time, but sat in the main seat in the middle hall. Wearing a black official uniform, matched with his graying temples and a cold expression, he looked majestic without anger. On the seats on both sides of the central hall, 6 figures wearing silver-white Centurion official uniforms sat upright. The Changle County Demon Suppression Division branch originally had 10 Centurions. As a result, a few months ago, Blood Lady killed 2 of them, including Gu Cheng's father. After that, Gu Cheng successively killed Tang Yuan and Jin Kuan, causing the recent leadership team of the government to be seriously insufficient, including him, the newly promoted centurion. There are only 7 people. This time, Captain Zhao summoned all the existing 7 centurions. Obviously there was something extremely important to say. Gu Cheng stretched out his hand and placed it on the handle of Mou's knife, and stepped into the central hall. The centurions looked over and immediately smiled, nodding to the rising newcomer. Gu Cheng nodded politely in response, walked all the way to the seat on the left of Captain Zhao and sat down, just facing Lin Qingyan on the right. The two looked at each other and nodded in tacit understanding, which was considered a greeting. Look at the seat, know the status. In less than 2 months, Gu Cheng, a relative who was hated by everyone in the government, has transformed himself into a prominent figure second only to the captain. Ahem, are all the people here? Captain Zhao coughed twice, his eyes swept through everyone like a hawk, and said seriously. I believe you have heard that Captain Zheng was killed by the evil cultivators of the Rebirth sect yesterday afternoon. The captains looked solemn, and their faces were so gloomy that water seemed to drip out. Although there were captains who died in the line of duty while performing tasks before, they were all unpredictable sacrifices. This time, they were killed by the demons and evil cultivators, which was completely different. Gu Cheng's eyes flashed with a strangeness. He really didn't expect that the Rebirth sect would take the blame this time. Lin Qingyan, who was sitting opposite, glanced at Gu Cheng quietly, and then quickly retracted her gaze. The resurgence of the Rebirth sect this time is no longer something that our Chang'an County branch can solve. I have reported to the headquarters in Tianshui City. Within 10 days, a general will lead a team to thoroughly search Black Wind Mountain. Captain Zhao took a deep breath and continued. During this period of time, in order to prevent the evil practitioners of the Rebirth sect from jumping off the wall, we must be extremely alert and raise the security level of Chang'an County to the highest level. All the centurions responded to the words. Although they did not know the details, they did not know why the Rebirth sect suddenly went crazy, but this time it was Captain Zheng who died, so next time, would they be the ones to die? Under the grief of the rabbit's death, everyone naturally had no objection to Captain Zhao's arrangement. After that, Captain Zhao began to assign tasks in an orderly manner. Although he is usually lazy, he does a good job at the critical moment. Gu Cheng was assigned the task of patrolling the outer area of Black Wind Mountain to prevent demons from taking advantage of the chaos to attack the surrounding villages. This was exactly what he wanted. In order to practice Crimson Palace Heavenly Thunder attraction, he could take the opportunity to replenish his lifespan. After the tasks were assigned, the centurions said goodbye and left. Gu Cheng was about to go out with Lin Qingyan, but Captain Zhao suddenly stopped him. Xiao Cheng, come on, I have something to talk to you about alone. Chapter 63. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The Demon Suppression Division, the study room. As soon as he stepped into this familiar territory, Zhao Qianhu's tense expression, like thawing ice, instantly became relaxed. He warmly invited Gu Cheng to sit down in front of the tea table, and took out his own collection of tea leaves to make a pot of hot tea. The curling hot steam rose from the 2 teacups, and the atmosphere seemed particularly peaceful. For a long time, Zhao Qianhu hesitated for a long time before speaking. Xiao Cheng, there was a little accident about your going to the headquarters to participate in the final assessment. You should have heard about the previous Tianshui County purge, right? Thanks to this incident, this year's review standards are far higher than in previous years. Even if you are like you who use the internal recommendation channel, you have to go through another preliminary review. Zhao Qianhu's expression was a little embarrassed. After all, he had vowed before and boasted that he could ask someone to send Gu Cheng all the way. Who would have thought that there would be another audit checkpoint later? Within 10 days, the special auditor will come to Chang'an County with the team investigating the remnants of the Rebirth sect. You don't have to be too stressed. He is just going through the motions and simply testing your talent and strength. As long as you pass the test, you can immediately follow him back to Tianshui City. Well, I know. Thank you, Lord Zhao, for telling me. Gu Cheng nodded politely, without a ripple in his heart. It's just an extra step of audit, compared to the cumbersome review of the normal route. The backdoor that Zhao Qianhu asked someone to help him through has saved most of the process. Hey, we are all family, why be so polite? Captain Zhao waved his hand, took a sip of hot tea, and said meaningfully. With your talent, you will definitely shine in this department in time. Maybe in a few years, I will still have to rely on you. Hearing this, Gu Cheng's eyes flashed with a strange color, and then he instantly understood something. With the tough and overbearing style of the Tianshui city headquarters, the general who came this time will probably not only investigate the matter of the rebirth sect, but also clean up the termites in the branch office. In this way, Captain Zhao, the pit who took the lead in the rottenness, will naturally bear the brunt. If he is really blamed, even if he has someone above him, this captain's official position will most likely not be kept. For this reason, Captain Zhao naturally has to get along well with Gu Cheng, a potential stock, and find a way out for his future development. Thinking of this, Gu Cheng suddenly thought of something and asked hurriedly. By the way, Lord Zhao, with Captain Lin's talent and strength, didn't you invite her to the headquarters before? Ah. You didn't know about this? I thought Xiaoyan had told you. Captain Zhao glanced at Gu Cheng with a strange look on his face. Seeing that the confusion on his face didn't seem fake, he explained softly. As early as 2 years ago, I suggested that she go to the headquarters in Tianshui City to develop, but she insisted on staying in Chang'e County on the grounds of avenging her father, and somehow, she seemed to have no interest in being promoted to the headquarters of the Demon Suppression Division. Speaking of this, Captain Zhao looked up at Gu Cheng's handsome face, and suddenly an idea flashed in his mind. By the way, Xiao Cheng, why don't you persuade Xiaoyan to go with you to Tianshui City? Anyway, the enemy who killed her father has been killed by a demon hunter, so there is no need for her to stay in Chang'e County any longer. Zhao Qianhu suggested sincerely, out of personal selfishness. He really didn't want to see this talented and beautiful couple separate. Gu Cheng lowered his head and stared at the steam rising from the teacup, silent. After nearly 8 days of daily interaction on Black Wind Mountain, Gu Cheng was very sure that the cold and beautiful sister must have some big secrets. The reason why the other party was unwilling to go to the headquarters of the Demon Suppression Division was probably because he was unwilling to take the special recruitment route of Blue Dragon 100 refining, and she had her own special considerations. Right? In this case, he was even less likely to influence other people's ideas. After that, Gu Cheng and Zhao Qianhu chatted while drinking tea. After the two of them finished the pot of good tea, Gu Cheng said goodbye and left. Looking at the back of the young man walking away, Captain Zhao retracted his gaze and sighed faintly. Alas, I hope that my merit in recommending talents for this department can make up for my mistakes. As he said, he walked to the desk. He took out a brand new piece of rice paper and started practicing calligraphy again. However, because he had too many distracting thoughts in his mind at this time, the big characters he wrote were far below his usual level. In his wild thoughts, Captain Zhao suddenly frowned, as if he had discovered some blind spots. Strange. The old man of the Zheng family, clearly 2 sons died. Why is the reaction so quiet today? According to the usual style of the Zheng family, shouldn't they have come to the government office to put pressure on the Demon Suppression Division to severely punish the murderer? Captain Zhao's writing stopped abruptly. The thick ink spread on the rice paper, forming an abrupt ink stain. He knew how much the Zheng family patriarch valued his 2 precious sons. In order to get the second son of the Zheng family into the Demon Suppression Division, the other party had spent a lot of money on the government office of the Demon Suppression Division. Now that the 2 sons are dead, the old man of the Zheng family has no reaction at all, which is too abnormal. Is it because of excessive grief, and there is no greater sorrow than the death of the heart? Captain Zhao thought so in his heart. He decided to wait a few more days and then personally visit the well-known local tycoon in Chang'e County to express his condolences. 3 days later, in the suburbs of Chang'e County, there is a dense forest. 2 wolf-headed monsters with human bodies were fleeing rapidly in the forest. Looking at their panicked appearance of using their hands and feet, they were already extremely frightened, as if they were being chased by some extremely terrible enemy. In a moment, a tall figure suddenly rushed out from the nearby bushes. Like an arrow from a bow, it rushed straight towards the 2 wolf monsters. Die! Xiao Yun's expression was stern, and the cold sword energy gathered on the long sword. He aimed at the vital point of a wolf demon and swung the sword to chop it. Just when the sharp blade was about to touch the shiny fur of the wolf demon, crackle, accompanied by the sound of an electric current breaking through the air, a black sword surrounded by azure lightning was actually the first to arrive and was swung down first. Xiao Yun only felt a silver-white ghost flashing before his eyes. when he came to his senses, the two wolf demons had already the head and body were separated, and the dead could not be deader. The high temperature of the lightning made the cut black, so not a drop of demon blood flowed out, and a pungent burnt smell was emitted. Xiao Yun looked at the headless bodies of the two wolf demons, and then looked at the handsome centurion standing beside him with a knife. His resolute face was full of depression and confusion. Alas, this Lord Gu is good in everything, but he loves to steal heads too much. In these 3 days, all the demons the two encountered were Gu Cheng took care of everything, and he wanted to kill a chicken himself. Xiao Yun's sword was almost rusted. Kill the wolf demon in the tempering body realm, and get lifespan, 31 years. Kill the wolf demon in the tempering body realm, and get lifespan, 29 years. Remaining lifespan, 1024 years. Gu Cheng put Mu back into the scabbard, looked at the refreshed record on the panel, and his mouth curled up slightly. During these 3 days, the Black Wind Mountain demon that had been hiding suddenly became active again. I don't know if he was bewitched by the rebirth religion, or if he had some special purpose, but no matter what, Gu Cheng had a good time eating buffet. Although most of them were small fish and shrimps in the tempering body realm, they were not as good in quality as in quantity. With his sweeping harvest, he actually broke through his lifespan to 4 digits again. With a lifespan of more than 1,000 years, it shouldn't be a problem to Krypton the Crimson Palace Heavenly Thunder induction to perfection, right? Gu Cheng's mind suddenly became hot. He couldn't wait to personally test the powerful power of the Su family's thunder method. Chapter 64. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Gu Cheng turned around and met Xiao Yun's sad eyes, and couldn't help laughing. What's that expression on your face? Didn't I discuss it with you a long time ago? The credit for killing the monster will be counted on you. When I leave Changle County, it will be enough for you to take over my job. During these 3 days, in addition to going out to hunt monsters, Gu Cheng also arranged various matters after his departure in advance. Although his subordinate had little experience, he had good character and his cultivation was barely qualified. It was not a problem for him to be a centurion in Changle County. What's more, the 5 bottles of boiling blood powder refined by Xiao Yun's sister gave him great help. Gu Cheng returned the favor, so of course he had to help out a little. Xiao Yun pursed his lips and remained silent. Logically speaking, it should be a great thing for him to have a boss like Gu Cheng who was promoted like a rocket. After all, when one person succeeds, everyone else will benefit. The higher Gu Cheng's achievements in the future, the greater the benefit of being his younger brother. However, when he thought that he would not be able to work under his idol in the future, a feeling of loss suddenly filled the heart of this big man. However, Xiao Yun was not a hypocritical person. He quickly adjusted his mentality and changed the subject. By the way, Mr. Gu, how did you feel after taking the boiling blood powder? Feeling? Well, it tastes pretty good. Ah. Xiao Yun was confused. With the violent medicinal power of the boiling blood powder, it was the first time he heard someone make such an evaluation. No. I want to ask if you had any adverse reactions after taking it. No, I feel pretty good. Gu Cheng commented truthfully. After all, the side effects of overdose were not worth mentioning to him. Hearing this, a strange color flashed in Xiao Yun's eyes, and he nodded thoughtfully. Don't be fooled by the fact that Mr. Gu looks delicate and thin, but the terrifying power contained in his body is comparable to that of a humanoid monster. The day before yesterday, they encountered a bear demon in the Qi and blood realm, and Mr. Gu slapped it to death. With his strong physical talent, as long as he strictly controls the daily dosage, it should not be a problem for him to resist the side effects of the boiling blood powder. Thinking of his sister's original plan, Xiao Yun made a decision in his heart in an instant, and planned to give the relic left by his father to Mr. Gu after returning to the county. The golden crow sank to the west, and night fell. Gu Cheng and Xiao Yun left the forest and came to a nearby village to stay overnight. These days, the two have been slaying demons in the surrounding forests, which has greatly changed the local villagers' views on the city's police. Hearing that the two wanted to stay overnight, the villagers immediately vacated 2 clean rooms and specially offered wine and food to show their gratitude. The night gradually deepened. From time to time, a few dog barks were heard in the village, which seemed particularly quiet on this dark and windy night. Just in the dead of night, Gu Cheng slipped out of the house quietly. He left the village and came to a deserted forest nearby. This time, the thunder method he was going to practice with his life was a bit special. For safety reasons, he had to find a secluded place. Gu Cheng walked to a huge rock and sat cross-legged on it. He took out 2 pots of nebula flowers from the storage bag and placed them in front of him. The elegant fragrance of the flowers filled the surroundings, which slowly calmed the young man's spirit. After everything was ready, Gu Cheng opened the system panel, took a deep breath, and poured his life into Jianggong Tianlei Yin. The number after the remaining lifespan began to decrease rapidly. Year 1, you began to practice the Crimson Palace Heavenly Thunder Induction. This precious soul-refining killing move is indeed extraordinary. Just the exaggerated amount of text alone makes your scalp numb. Year 3, after years of hard practice, you have memorized the content of this thunder method. However, although you can recognize every word on it, you cannot know the meaning of them together. You ponder and try to understand the content above, but your eyes become clearer. Gu Cheng held his forehead with one hand, looking helpless. That Miss Su thought that he could achieve a small success in about a year. As a result, 3 years have passed, and this shit has not been understood. Year 10, you have been under the influence of the rich fragrance of the nebula flower for a long time, and suddenly a flash of inspiration came to you. Combined with the practice experience recorded by Sun Yenshue in the secret book, you seem to have some understanding. The Crimson Palace Heavenly Thunder Induction breaks through the entry realm. Year 11, you had comprehended the meaning of wind and thunder when you were practicing the wind and thunder sword technique. You suddenly understood the meaning of wind and thunder by analogy. Cheerful, the progress of cultivation is advancing by leaps and bounds. Crimson Palace Thunder Breakthroughs, the minor success realm. 15th year. After years of hard practice, you finally understand the key points of using palm thunder. With a thunder strike, the stubborn stone the size of a house was instantly blasted into pieces like tofu. Crimson Palace Thunder Breakthroughs, the mastery realm. Seeing this, Gu Cheng's mouth curled up slightly. It seems that his previous guess was right. This wind and thunder sword art was derived from the thunder method. With the ultimate wind and thunder sword art as a prerequisite, Gu Cheng will practice the thunder method again. As long as he can understand the doorway, the progress of his practice will naturally be unstoppable. However, it is a pity, the gap between this rare secret method of breaking the ordinary realm and the martial arts of the Qi and blood realm is like a difference between heaven and earth. After practicing the Crimson Palace Thunder to the mastery realm, the cultivation record on Gu Cheng's panel got stuck again. And it was obvious that he had entered a new bottleneck period. Year 137, you have been practicing hard for many years, but there is still no progress. You began to doubt your life, thinking that hundreds of years of hard work alone could not make up for your shortcomings in talent. Year 141, hard work may not make up for talent, but risking your life can. In desperation, you used the same trick again and flew a kite in the rain again. You wanted to use this risking method to attract the thunder to fill your body, so as to obtain the fleeting inspiration. Year 142, you were hit by 5 thunders. Under the magnificent power of heaven, even if you opened the immortal demon body, you still couldn't resist it at all. You were seriously injured and dying. Year 152, after 10 years of recuperation, your injuries finally healed. Under the tempering of the thunder, your physical strength has improved slightly. But you didn't catch that ray of inspiration. You are not discouraged, and continue to fly kites in the thunderstorm. Alas, after going around in circles, I'm back to the starting point. Gu Cheng sighed helplessly. He now understands that this Krypton Life System has a hidden function, that is, in the process of Krypton life cultivation, no matter how crazy he is in the panel, no matter how he commits suicide. The most serious consequence is nothing more than serious injury and near death. As long as the remaining lifespan is enough, no matter how serious the injury is, it can be slowly healed under the erosion of time. On the other side, after going through 5 thunders again and again, the record on the panel finally has new changes. 351st year, I don't know how many times you have been baptized by thunder. Your mind finally opened up. Combined with your latest understanding of this magnificent power, the originally obscure content in the secret book has become clear in an instant. You have fully understood the true meaning of the Su family's thunder method. The Jianggong Tianlei leads to a breakthrough in the great accomplishment realm. 365th year, you have truly mastered lightning. Ordinary thunder techniques not only cannot hurt you, but will become your source of strength. Unfortunately, you have not yet condensed your Qi. Without the assistance of true Qi, it is difficult to exert the true power of this thunder technique, because your understanding of the heavenly thunder has penetrated deep into your bones. In a flash of inspiration, a better optimization plan came to mind. Breaking the ordinary, treasure, Crimson Palace Heavenly Thunder Induction, complete. Remaining lifespan, 659 years. Chapter 65. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Gu Cheng slowly opened his eyes. In his dark eyes, two sharp lightning flashed like a meteor. Is this the feeling of mastering lightning? Gu Cheng raised his right hand, slightly folded his 5 fingers, and his mind moved. Rumble. A dull thunder suddenly came from the air, like the roar of a vicious tiger, scaring the birds resting on the nearby trees to fly away. Gu Cheng looked up, locked a big tree in the distance with his mind, and pinched the magic formula with one hand. Crack. A blue thunder fell in the air. 100 steps away, it accurately hit the big tree that two people hugged, splitting it vertically in the middle into 2 parts, falling to both sides. The high temperature of the thunder and lightning instantly ignited a raging fire on the broken wood and raised billowing smoke. Not bad power. Gu Cheng looked at the lightning-struck tree that was split into 2 pieces and nodded with satisfaction. Even without the assistance of true Qi, the thunder method cannot exert its full power. In terms of its destructive power alone, it is not inferior to the blood shadow sword art that has reached its peak, and when fighting against those demons and evil spirits, the characteristics of thunder methods that can destroy evil and eliminate evil can often burst out with even more powerful power. After practicing Crimson Palace Heavenly Thunder Induction to perfection, Gu Cheng's understanding of the magnificent power of heaven has been completely sublimated to a whole new realm. He even has a general direction on how to break through the limits of this precious secret method. Gu Cheng glanced at his personal panel and saw that there was still a lot of life left. So he struck while the iron was hot and continued to pour life into it. First year, you continue to practice the Crimson Palace Heavenly Thunder Induction, trying to make this soul-refining killing move burst out with 200% power. Year 2, with your deep understanding of the thunder, you have a general direction in mind, but you have inspiration, but because of the limitations of your vision and background, it is difficult to put your ideas into practice. As a result, no matter how clear your direction is, it is nothing but a castle in the air. Year 81, as the saying goes, there must be a teacher among 3 people. You spent 80 years of your life to awaken the 3 souls one by one, hoping to find the method you want from them. Blood Lady and others are close friends with you. After hearing that you are in trouble, they immediately work together to give you advice. What corpse party? Gu Cheng pulled the corner of his mouth, thinking that this matter was not very reliable, but on second thought, although these 2 people and the fox were all dead souls under his knife, their strength was far less than that of him, but their backgrounds are quite impressive and they are knowledgeable. Faced with this thorny problem, maybe you can really come up with some good suggestions. Chapter 131. Since the Blood Lady has a low level of cultivation and is not a spiritual cultivator, she can't give any useful suggestions at all. Feng Sancher focuses on the way of demon servants, and is also helpless in the face of obscure spells such as thunder magic. Instead, the 3-tailed fox demon has a very creative idea and gave you a very strange suggestion. The Fox Demon clan can use the demonic energy to perform the secret skills they stole from the human race. Why don't you follow the Fox Demon and use the bloody energy of the Blood Demon body to replace the true energy, so as to assist the thunder magic to exert a stronger power? Chapter 135. You think this Pit Father Fox is just talking nonsense. Wind and Thunder Sword Art is not compatible with the first volume of Blood Sword Sutra. Now, if you switch to the more powerful Crimson Palace Heavenly Thunder Guide and the second volume of the Blood Sword Sutra which has reached its ultimate meaning, wouldn't the compatibility be even more conflicting? But you have no other plan at the moment, so you can only give it a try. Year 158, after years of trying, you suddenly have an epiphany. As the saying goes, solitary yin cannot produce, solitary yang cannot grow. This Su family thunder method is a very strong and yang spell, specially used to break evil and eliminate demons. However, there is no creation without destruction. If you want to break through the limit of thunder method, you must completely break the original constraints of thunder method, combining the relationship between thunder method and blood evil spirit. You have a bold idea. Year 531, after years of hard work and practice, you have successfully deconstructed this thunder method, and used the power of blood evil to drive thunder method, condensing a more powerful blood evil demon thunder. Through this method of reversing the Tiangang, you have completely reversed this righteous thunder method originally used to slay demons and monsters into a vicious and evil method. Your Crimson Palace heavenly thunder has broken through the limit and comprehended the ultimate meaning of martial arts. You summarize and name this secret, Blood Kirin Rage. Blood Kirin Rage, mobilize the blood evil power of the whole body, condense the blood evil magic thunder in the air into a huge unicorn phantom, descend from the sky, and destroy all enemies blasted into ashes. Remaining lifespan, 128 years. Gu Cheng stared at the name and skill description of this move with a rather strange look in his eyes. Blood Unicorn Rage. Could this move be a copycat version of Ertsuzi's move, Thunder Escape Unicorn? But anyway, this name is a little more normal. Gu Cheng looked around and locked onto a towering tree 100 steps away with his mind. He pinched the magic formula with one hand and activated the blood evil power in his body at the same time. Boom! A dark red blood evil magic thunder, like a roaring dragon, fell with an astonishing aura of destruction. In an instant, the tree was blasted into pieces, the charred wood chips flew everywhere, and even the land below was blown into a huge hole. Just looking at the performance of this lightning strike, the power of this blood evil demon thunder is definitely several times more powerful than ordinary thunder and lightning. If you go all out and use the ultimate move, Blood Scale Rage, let alone an ordinary innate master, even if Gu Cheng opens his immortal demon body and takes a hard hit, the chance of survival is extremely slim. Everything will turn around, and good times will come after bad times. I didn't expect that this righteous thunder method would become so powerful after falling into the devil's way. Is this the legendary, blackening 3 times stronger? Gu Cheng secretly complained in his heart. Although the consumption of this blood evil demon thunder has also increased exponentially, it is not suitable for a protracted war, but in the face of this terrifying power, this side effect can be ignored. Gu Cheng put the 2 pots of nebula flowers into the storage bag and looked up at the sky. Tonight, the moon is dark and the wind is high, and there is no moonlight at all. The inky night sky seemed like a giant beast swallowing the whole world. Such a beautiful night is obviously a good time to kill and set fire. Gu Cheng narrowed his eyes slightly, and a cold arc appeared at the corner of his mouth. During this period, he has been busy killing monsters to increase his lifespan, and put aside all the less urgent matters. Now Jianggong Tian Lion has reached its peak. After 3 days of precipitation, the rumors of the last incident have gradually subsided. It is time for him to go out again and send the master of the Jing family to reunite with his 2 unlucky sons. Gu Cheng jumped down from the boulder. When he landed on the ground, his silver-white official uniform had been replaced by a bronze mask plus black robe monster catcher suit. Then he simply confirmed the direction, and his figure disappeared from the spot like a ghost. Only 2 unlucky trees that were struck by lightning were left, explaining his arrival. The speed of the flowing cloud riding the wind art that has reached its peak is extremely exaggerated. It took less than an incense stick of time. Gu Cheng rushed from the suburbs of Changle County all the way to the outside of the county. From a distance, Changle County was like a giant beast sleeping in the night, standing quietly in front. Gu Cheng came to the bottom of the city wall, jumped high, and easily climbed up the 10-foot-high city wall. He stood quietly at the highest point on the city wall, and the cool autumn wind blew up his black robe. His clothes fluttered. Extremely elegant. Gu Cheng calmed down, looked towards the south of the city, and was slightly startled. It was clearly late at night, but the rich area in the south of the city was now ablaze with fire, and it was particularly lively. Even though they were far away, Gu Cheng could vaguely hear the sounds of shouting and killing, and it was obvious that some fierce conflict was breaking out, and the core of this conflict was the largest and most luxurious house in South City. Is that the Jing family's compound? Gu Cheng's eyes under the mask suddenly flashed with a strange color. What is this? He was planning to destroy the Jing family tonight, but someone got there first. Could it be, because I have been trying to kill Xiao Yun for the past 3 days? So it's a tit for tat, and this time it's my turn to be killed by someone else. Gu Cheng secretly complained in his heart. Then he didn't hesitate any more, and his figure fell from the city wall like a big bird, and quickly flew towards the direction where the conflict broke out. Chapter 66. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The southern city of Changle County was experiencing a fierce melee at this time. A group of pig demons and wolf demons suddenly appeared in the county, causing chaos everywhere and killing anyone they met. Fortunately, the Demon Suppression Division had already imposed martial law in the city before, and several centurions were leading teams to patrol the city at night. The homes of those wealthy families also hired many martial artists. Facing the sudden attack of the demons, they quickly counterattacked. With the concerted efforts of both sides, even though they were caught off guard by the group of demons, they still managed to temporarily control the situation. On the originally spacious and clean streets, the bodies of demons and humans were lying in all directions, and blood was flowing all over the ground. The fight between humans and demons continued. And roars and screams came one after another, casting a layer of terrifying blood on this dark night. Crack! The azure thunder fell with a bang, splitting the three-headed demon into charcoal on the spot. Strange. Why did so many demons suddenly appear in Changle County? Is there a traitor in the city who hid the demons in secret in advance? Sun Yenshua looked at the fire in the distance. Her pretty face under the mask was as pale as paper. She was already seriously injured and needed to recuperate. Forced to attack tonight, it would undoubtedly make her injuries worse. However, at this critical moment when demons were rampant in the city and countless civilians were in danger, she couldn't care less. After discovering the abnormality in Nancheng, she rushed to the battlefield as soon as possible. The Su family in Yunzhou has always taken it as their responsibility to slay demons. Even a weirdo like Miss Su is still very clear about the right and wrong of things. Just as Sun Yenshua was trying to endure the pain in her body and was planning to go somewhere else to kill a few more demons. Boom boom, the ground under the feet of the female demon hunter suddenly trembled violently. This is... Sun Yenshua's expression changed slightly, and she quickly pulled away to dodge. The next moment, a black shadow broke out of the ground like a cannonball. With a whistling strong wind, a punch hit Sun Yenshua's face, but she narrowly avoided it. However, before Sun Yenshua could breathe a sigh of relief, several scarlet claws tore through the air and attacked from behind again, blocking all her escape routes. With no way to avoid it, Sun Yenshua had to take it head-on. She took out a mirror magic weapon and formed a barrier in front of her to block all these scarlet claws. She also took advantage of this gap and hurriedly flew back and looked at these two enemies who had no martial ethics, these two guys who made sneak attacks. One was a handsome young man, and the other was an ugly bald man. The difference in their looks was huge, but their scarlet demon eyes and the demonic aura that was so strong that it seemed to be real, undoubtedly revealed the true identities of the two uninvited guests. Pig Demon King. Wolf Demon King. Two demons in human skin that broke through the mortal realm. You are the demon catcher, right? The handsome young man stared at the bronze mask on Sun Yenshua's face, and suddenly grinned, revealing his white and neat teeth. We have been looking for you for more than a month. Humph. You killed so many of my children. This time I will make you and the people of this city die with them. The bald ugly man's expression was extremely ferocious, like an evil ghost. Sun Yenshua's eyes swept over the two demons, and her heart sank immediately. If she was still in her prime and could activate her life-defining magic weapon, she would naturally have the strength to fight, and could even win easily. But she is still seriously injured and can only exert 30% of her strength at most. It is difficult for her to fight a demon king. Now let him face the two demon kings of Black Wind Mountain at the same time. Isn't that just courting death? Just when Sun Yenshua was thinking about retreating and considering whether to use the only remaining 1,000 miles divine travel talisman to escape, swish, a blazing flame slash came whistling and slashed at the two demon kings. The handsome young man snorted coldly and stepped hard on the ground. A thick earth wall rose up in an instant, blocking the flame slash in front of him. Are there any masters? The bald ugly man turned his head to look. He saw a tall figure in silver-white official uniform, holding a knife in one hand, walking slowly. The raging flames were wrapped around the blade like a fire dragon. The bright firelight clearly reflected the woman's cold and beautiful face. She is also a centurion of the Demon Suppression Division. I didn't expect that besides young Master Gu, there is actually such a master in this small branch office. Sun Yenshua looked at the cold and beautiful lady. Even though she was also a woman, a hint of surprise flashed in her eyes. just as she was about to open her mouth to remind the other party to be careful, the female centurion suddenly shook her body, holding a flaming knife and rushed up, fighting with the two demons. The two kings fought in a group. This girl is too reckless, isn't she? Su Nianxue was immediately shocked, and hurriedly took out a few talismans and stepped forward to help. In the dark night, the two men and two demons started a fierce battle on the streets of South City. For a time, the flames roared, the lightning exploded, the blood evil rose, and the earth and rocks surged. The thunder method and the magic were bombarded, the steel knife and the claws competed, and the fight was so lively. Although Su Nianxue and Lin Qinyan fought side by side for the first time, they showed amazing tacit understanding. Thunder and flames complement each other, and they are a perfect match, bursting out a powerful power that is greater than the sum of 1 plus 1. On the other hand, the two leaders of the two demon tribes, the pig and the wolf, have been deadly enemies for nearly 100 years, so naturally they are not good at dealing with each other. Even if they are now temporarily teamed up, they are fighting on their own, and occasionally they will pit their teammates, so much so that after dozens of rounds of fighting, the two demon kings were at a disadvantage. Stupid pig! Where the hell are you poking? The bald man covered the wound on his chest and cursed. After being hit in the chest by Lin Qinyan's flaming sword technique and almost being anally blasted by his teammates' ground spikes, the king of the wolf demon clan finally couldn't hold back. Don't hold back, kill these two annoying guys. Got it. Mixed-haired dog. A trace of pity flashed in the handsome young man's eyes, but he still pulled off the skin bag on his body with force. Without the disguise of the secret technique of painting skin, its body suddenly swelled and turned into a 10-meter-long stone-armored wild boar. Two huge fangs curved like crescents, and a thick layer of rock armor covered the fat body, like a fully armed armored vehicle. The ugly bald man also showed his true form, transforming into a 6-meter-tall red-haired werewolf. The blood-red demonic aura, like flames, lingered on its fangs and claws, and it was full of murderous aura, like a battle-hardened killing machine. After the two demon kings revealed their true bodies, their strength suddenly increased a lot, and the battle situation was reversed instantly. In less than 5 rounds, Lin Baihu was blown away by the wolf demon king's claws and hit a nearby stone wall heavily, leaving spiderweb-like cracks. Lin Qinyan was severely injured. A trace of blood flowed from the corner of her mouth, and her breath also became weak. Take her life while she is sick. The pig demon king immediately displayed the traditional art of the pig demon clan pig rush. Like a runaway train, it rushed straight towards the cold and beautiful queen, trying to finish her off with a pig cart. The body, which was larger than an elephant, ran wildly, and suddenly made a sound like an earthquake. Be careful! Su Nianxue was shocked when she saw this. She wanted to help, but she was entangled by the wolf demon king and had no time to take care of herself. At this critical moment, 2 golden flames suddenly ignited in Lin Qinyan's cold eyes. The golden color was gorgeous and sacred, exuding the supreme majesty of an emperor. The pig demon king suddenly changed his expression and hurriedly stopped charging. Under the action of inertia, the huge body slid forward more than 10 meters, and finally stopped at a distance of less than 2 meters from Lin Qinyan. Stupid pig! What the hell are you doing? The wolf demon king was furious when he saw this, and he cursed. Hurry up and kill her. What are you waiting for? Don't you pig demons dislike such skinny women? The pig demon king remained silent, and his body retreated dozens of meters uncontrollably. A pair of scarlet demon eyes were staring at the female centurion in front of him, and he was horrified. Somehow, he felt a very terrifying breath from Lin Qinyan just now. It seemed that if he dared to get closer, he would die on the spot. However, less than 3 seconds later, the golden flame in Lin Qinyan's eyes suddenly went out, and the deadly threat disappeared. What is going on? Was it just my illusion, that just when the pig demon king was puzzled and decided to continue to finish off the knife, a dark figure suddenly fell from midair and blocked Lin Qinyan's body? The man also wore a bronze mask and a black robe, dressed like a demon hunter. He stared at the 2 demon kings in front of him quietly. The pair of scarlet eyes under the mask were full of surprise and greed, like a gourmet seeing some delicious food. Chapter 67. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The appearance of this mysterious demon hunter instantly attracted the attention of both sides. Crack. Sun Yenshue forced the wolf demon king back with a lightning strike, and flew back. Looking at the demon hunter's iconic outfit, she couldn't help but frown. Somehow, the more she looked, the more familiar she felt, but for a moment, she couldn't remember when and where she had met this fellow demon hunter. The second demon hunter, Lin Qinyan, wiped the blood from the corner of her mouth, looked at the figure blocking her way, and a strange color flashed in her beautiful eyes. A strong premonition rose in her heart. The benefactor who helped her avenge her father's murder should be the uninvited guest in front of her. Why are these two girls mixed together? Gu Cheng used his divine sense to sense the status of Lin Qinyan and Sun Yenshue, and saw that the two were fine, and he couldn't help but feel relieved. Although he didn't know what happened in this city, I don't know why the two demon kings of the Black Wind Mountain suddenly appeared here, but Gu Cheng now only knows one thing: he is going to kill. Puff dash, several sharp stone spears suddenly broke out of the ground and pierced Gu Cheng through, but then, his figure in a black robe suddenly became distorted and blurred. Like a mirage, he disappeared out of thin air. Illusion. The red pupils of the pig demon king were slightly startled. How could this ability to appear and disappear be so similar to the two fox demons before? Just as the big wild boar king was stunned, Gu Cheng's figure had already appeared behind it like a ghost. Then without hesitation, he opened his big move, immortal demon body. The scarlet blood evil aura overflowed and rose, like a silkworm pupa, instantly completely wrapped his body, and in a flash, it condensed into a set of dark red armor covering the whole body. The ferocious and domineering shape, like a demon descending to the world, exudes a terrifying aura that makes people's heart palpitate. As Gu Cheng transformed, a monstrous evil spirit instantly spread from this dark blood demon armor. The closest pig demon king was the first to be hit and was stunned on the spot. It turned around subconsciously. A ferocious hand armor suddenly grabbed its big teeth, along with its entire pig head, and pressed down hard. Boom! Under an indescribable force, the pig king's fat and huge body was actually pressed to the ground, and a big hole was smashed in the ground in an instant. The whole street was shaking like an earthquake. Even if the pig demon king was thick-skinned, he was still knocked unconscious by this explosion. It was staring and struggling to get up. Gu Cheng had already circled to the side of the beast, and with his fingers like knives, he suddenly stabbed into its abdomen. The defense that the pig demon king was proud of was as fragile as dumpling skin in front of him. Then Gu Cheng clenched his 5 fingers and activated the secret method of blood manipulation. Under the zero-distance explosion of the blood evil power, he easily crushed the heart of the pig demon king like tofu, and took out the demon core in its body. The pig demon king's eyes bulged out immediately, and his body struggled desperately for a moment, and then he completely lost his vitality. Kill the high-level earth armor pig demon in the breaking ordinary realm, and obtain lifespan, 512 years. 10 Tang Yuan. You are really worthy of being a demon king, and you have a lot of lifespan. Gu Cheng glanced at the panel record and nodded with satisfaction. He put the pig demon king's ping-pong-sized demon core into the storage bag. He turned to look at the red-haired wolf demon standing there. Just died like that? The wolf demon king looked at the dead pig embedded in the ground. His mind went blank, and he was completely frightened. He had fought with the pig demon king in Black Wind Mountain for nearly 100 years, and he knew how terrifying the opponent's defense was. Even the blood wolf demon, which he was most proud of, could not break through the thick stone armor. But in front of the monster-like demon catcher, how could the stupid pig be killed in one encounter? Just when the wolf demon king doubted the life of the demon, Gu Cheng stretched out his hand, and the blood evil in his palm surged, condensing into a hideous dark blood blade. In the state of opening the immortal demon body, his lifeblood weapon also changed its shape, becoming more evil and domineering, and it was not an equipment used by a decent person at first glance. Gu Cheng held the hilt of the knife and swung it towards the red-haired wolf demon. Greedy wolf blood blade. Swish! A 5-meter-long bloody slash tore through the air, whistling towards him with overwhelming momentum. The wolf demon king was immediately frightened to death, and his body instinctively wanted to dodge, but under the pressure of the opponent's terrifying evil spirit, he couldn't even move his claws. It was difficult to kill a child, and he could only wait for death to come. I don't know if it was an illusion. Before dying, the wolf demon king actually felt an extremely familiar breath. From the bloody slash, that was, his most beloved eldest son. Puff! the huge body of the red-haired wolf demon was effortlessly cut into two by the greedy wolf blood blade, then the bloody slash continued to move forward, first splitting a wall behind the courtyard, and then chopped up a rockery in the courtyard, and then disappeared. In the blink of an eye, these two demon leaders who were causing trouble in Black Wind Mountain died in this way, and turned into nutrients for Gu Cheng to become stronger, kill the high-level red blood wolf demon in the broken ordinary realm and obtain lifespan, 498 years, soul remnant, 40 years. Another soul remnant? It's a pity that the soul remnant of this demon is not valuable, and I guess I can't learn anything useful. Gu Cheng muttered to himself, and at the same time reached out. He used telekinesis to dig out the demon core of the wolf demon king and put it into the storage bag. At this time, the momentum of the dark blood demon armor on Gu Cheng's body suddenly became weak, and there were signs of dissipation. Is it time? Gu Cheng frowned slightly. The amplification effect of this immortal demon body is really powerful. Once it is activated, it will destroy the world. It is like a butcher knife to kill a chicken when used to deal with demons below the innate realm, but correspondingly, as a transformation-type big move, the immortal demon body consumes a lot of energy, so the duration will naturally not be too long. However, as the martial arts secret of the blood sword scripture, this move naturally has its own unique endurance method. Puff. Gu Cheng inserted his lifeblood soldier into the corpse of the pig demon king, and used the blood manipulation secret method to full effect. In a moment, the corpse of the pig demon quickly shrank at a speed visible to the naked eye. The dark blood demon armor suddenly glowed with blood, exuding a monstrous fierceness, as if the evil demon had returned. Then Gu Cheng followed the method and sucked all the demon blood from the wolf demon king's corpse. With the demon blood of these two demon kings as fuel, it was enough for him to deal with various battles. Tonight. What kind of evil method is this? Sun Yanxue looked at the two demon remains that were sucked into mummies and couldn't help but take a breath. Under the bronze mask, a pair of beautiful amber eyes were full of fear and doubt. Where did this master of magic come from? Is there such a senior who has practiced evil magic in the demon hunting team of Tianshui County? Sun Yanxue was puzzled. At the same time, she didn't think that the other party was an acquaintance she knew. After all, how could she, the third daughter of the Su family in Yunzhou, know such a master of magic who looked more like a demon than a demon? On the other hand, Lin Qingyan's thoughts were completely opposite to Sun Yanxue's. While she was shocked by the other party's terrifying strength, she also had a very strong sense of déjà vu for the latter's clean and neat demon-killing method and precise and fierce knife-swinging movements. Could it be that his true identity is? Yenner, your intuition is not wrong. Lin Qingyan's eyes were once again ignited with golden flames, which would be difficult to detect if not observed closely. At the same time, in the depths of her mind, a gentle and sweet female voice suddenly sounded. The benefactor who helped you avenge your father's murder is your fiancé who you were engaged to as a child. Chapter 68. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Master. Lin Qingyan was slightly startled, and then a look of joy appeared on her face. She reached out to touch her chest. In the dark and deep canyon, there was a jade pendant engraved with phoenix patterns. When did you wake up? I woke up for a while. The reason why I didn't notify you immediately was to see if you were self-conscious and whether you had practiced seriously in the past 2 years. Now it seems that you are quite obedient. Lin Qingyan pursed her lips lightly, raised her eyes and looked at the figure wearing magic armor and looking like an evil demon. She couldn't help asking in her heart. Master, you said he is Gu Cheng, but why can he grow to such a level in just a few years? Lin Qingyan was full of doubts. She had only suspected that Gu Cheng was hiding his strength and developing in secret, but judging from the terrifying combat power that the other party has shown now, which is comparable to that of a congenital master, isn't the result of Gu Cheng's secret development too outrageous? What's the big deal? What if he is the martial arts genius that is hard to come by in 1,000 years? Or maybe he, like you, accidentally picked up a wise, brave, beautiful, gentle, kind, and generous master. It's not impossible. The slightly narcissistic master was very calm and explained softly. Yenner, you have to remember that this land of China is vast and boundless, and there are many talented geniuses. There are many peerless geniuses who are even more outrageous than your fiancé. But compared to personal talent, resources and inheritance are the top priorities that determine the upper limit. If it weren't for the damage to my soul and the delay of 2 years, your current strength would definitely not be worse than his. Hearing this, Lin Qinyan nodded obediently. She has a bit of a stubborn personality and always believes in what her master says. Just as the master and apprentice were quietly interacting, a huge blood-colored beam suddenly shot up into the sky in the distance, casting a layer of blood-colored light and shadow over the dark night. Is this the corpse transformation ritual of the rebirth cult? Sun Yanxue looked up and stared at the blood-colored beam that shot straight into the sky, and her face suddenly changed. She couldn't help but exclaimed. Not good. Someone is going to be promoted to the corpse king of the innate realm. These demons that are making trouble everywhere tonight are clearly helping the demons of the rebirth cult to delay time. Is the direction of that blood-colored beam, the Zheng family's compound? Gu Cheng's mind seemed to flash with lightning, and he suddenly understood something. It turned out that the mastermind behind all this was the old man of the Zheng family. That was such a coincidence. These new and old grudges can just be settled together. Gu Cheng narrowed his eyes slightly, pulled the blood knife out of the shriveled corpse of the wolf demon king, and carried it on his shoulder. The flowing cloud-chasing wind art, which had reached its peak, was fully exerted. His figure was like a ghost, leaving a trail of afterimages, and he quickly rushed towards the direction where the blood light rose. Lin Qinyan and Sun Yanxue subconsciously wanted to follow, however, under the illumination of the blood light that just shot up into the sky. The corpses of the demons and humans on the street suddenly revived strangely. Those broken corpses trembled and stood up from the ground, like puppets being manipulated. They roared and surrounded the only 2 living people left on the street. Such a horrible scene was very similar to the classic scenes in those zombie movies, which made people's scalps numb. Lin Qinyan and Sun Yanxue looked at each other and nodded tacitly. Then the 2 of them joined forces again. Lightning exploded, flames rose, and began to efficiently clean up these rebellious zombies. Time went back to a few minutes ago, South City of Chang'e County, the ancestral home of the Zheng family. The spacious courtyard is like a stage of death. Corpses with eyes wide open were scattered on the ground. The blood flowing everywhere dyed the ground a shocking red, emitting a pungent stench that made people sick. This family, which once had hundreds of people, is now the first wealthy family in Chang'e County, with only 1 person left. The instigator of all this is fighting a fierce battle with 2 masters of the Demon Suppression Division. Swish, Captain Zhao held a 3-foot green sword, and the pale sword light gathered on the sword blade, and each move went straight to the enemy's vital points. Fighting side by side with him was the middle-aged scholar who guarded the arsenal. He held the sword in one hand, and the cold sword energy surged like a tide. His strength was not inferior to that of the captain. Facing the siege of these 2 masters of the breaking ordinary realm, Zheng Tianlu was beaten back step by step, with disheveled hair and a very embarrassed look. If he hadn't been proficient in the method of body refining and his body was as hard as a rock, he would have been chopped into meat paste by the 2 men. Master Zhao, Master Su, do you 2 have to fight to the death with me? Zheng Tianlu pulled himself away to avoid a sword beam, grinned, and revealed a ferocious face. The old face covered with blood became more and more crazy. The 2 demon kings of Black Wind Mountain are now in the city. If you don't stop them quickly, they may kill many people. Humph. Kill you, the old bastard, first, and then deal with those 2 beasts. Captain Zhao's sword was as fast as the wind, and his eyes were staring at the traitor like an eagle, with anger burning in his heart. When he came here to visit during the day, he felt that there was something wrong with the head of the Zheng family. He wanted to wait for Gu Cheng to come back before taking action, but Zheng Tianlu suddenly attacked that night. Zhao Qian, who never thought that this always shrewd and strong old man Zheng would be bewitched by the demon of the rebirth religion. Not only did he kill his entire family with his own hands, but he also secretly colluded with the demons of Black Wind Mountain and let them harm people in the city. Damn it! With his trouble tonight, when the generals of our headquarters come, won't I be completely finished? Zhao Qian, who became more and more angry. In order to make up for his mistakes, he must personally kill the culprit. Thinking of this, Zhao Qianhu's eyes were cold and his offensive suddenly accelerated. Seeing this, the middle-aged scholar on the side immediately followed up. The 2 of them combined their swords and knives, and cooperated very well. Under a violent attack, Zheng Tianlu finally revealed a fatal flaw. in the end, Gu Cheng exchanged his injury for his life. He was hit hard in the chest and several ribs were broken on the spot. At the same time, he also swung his sword back, with an extremely sharp sword light, and slashed at the opponent's neck fiercely. Puff, accompanied by the wanton spray of blood. A head with a weird smile soared into the sky. Zheng Qianlu's sturdy headless body fell to the ground with a bang, and there was no sound anymore, after everything was settled. Gu Cheng's tense mood couldn't help but relax a little. He wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth and was about to call the middle-aged scholar to go find the two demon kings together. Wow! That a scarlet and dazzling evil light suddenly lit up from the head of Zheng Qianlu, who fell to the ground. It turned into a huge beam of light and rushed straight into the sky. Under the illumination of this bloody evil light, the bodies of the Zheng family in the courtyard all stood up tremblingly. Zheng Qianlu's headless body also resumed its movement again, stood up, picked up his head, and pressed it back again. At the same time, a blood-colored skull-shaped helmet slowly emerged on his head. The strange blood-colored light was emitted from this helmet. Blood skull helmet? The middle-aged scholar took a closer look and was immediately horrified, and hurriedly flew back. Old Su, what is going on? Gu Cheng looked at the extremely horrifying scene in front of him, and immediately followed him, and asked his companion beside him. What is that blood skull helmet? It is an extremely evil magic weapon in the Rebirth sect. That the middle-aged scholar showed a look of horror, and even his voice was distorted by fear. It is said that as long as you wear it, and then kill your loved ones, relatives, brothers and sisters with your own hands, you can use this unethical ritual to transform yourself into a 1,000-year corpse king and break through to the innate realm in one fell swoop. What? Gu Cheng's breath was choked, and he was shocked. No wonder Zheng Qianlu didn't die after his head was chopped off. It turned out that he was already a zombie. At the same time, the zombies in the yard began to gather together and piled up into a pile of corpses. The flesh and bones twisted and fused, just like mixing different colors of plasticine together. Finally, they were spliced into a hideous monster with a height of more than 10 meters, 5 heads, 8 arms, and 4 legs. The dazzling red light that shot up into the sky gradually faded. Zheng Qianlu's 5 heads, each more abstract than the other, opened their eyes at the same time and looked around. They all laughed up to the sky. The sound was like thunder, deafening. Ha ha ha. It's done. It's done. I finally broke through to the innate realm and successfully trained the body of the Corpse King. From now on, I will be immortal and never have to worry about my end. He he he. Ha 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 ha. Chapter 69. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Accompanied by the shrill laughter of Zheng Qianlu's 5 heads, the monstrous evil spirit of corpses spread from the body of this ugly Corpse King. Gu Cheng and the middle-aged scholar stood 10 feet away, but they were still shocked by the momentum that escaped, and their blood and qi in their bodies surged, and they couldn't help but be horrified, just looking at the ugly appearance of this Corpse King. It was obvious that something went wrong with Mr. Zheng's promotion ceremony, but from the terrifying power of this monster, it can be seen that Zheng Qianlu's current strength is definitely not comparable to that of the newly promoted Xiantian Grandmaster. Such a terrifying demon is simply not something we can solve. Are the hundreds of thousands of civilians in Chang'an County going to be slaughtered by this monster? That just when the two of them were as pale as paper and felt desperate, a terrifying momentum that was no less than that of the Xiantian Corpse King suddenly came from afar and was approaching rapidly. Gu Cheng and the middle-aged scholar turned their heads and looked, then they saw a tall figure wearing magic armor and holding a blood knife, flying and landing in the center of the courtyard. The domineering and ferocious dark red armor seemed like an evil demon crawling out of the abyss, exuding a monstrous bloody aura, and just looking at it made people's legs weak. This kind of fierce and abnormal aura is like the style of a great demon in the innate realm. Seeing this scene, Gu Cheng and the middle-aged scholar couldn't help but smile miserably, and their mood became more and more desperate. Damn it. This damn Zheng Qianlu actually has such a powerful accomplice. It's over, this time it's completely dead. Who are you? Zheng Qianlu felt the terrifying aura of the person who came. The 5 heads that were laughing crazily suddenly woke up. He had heard from the Holy Envoy that the Holy Church had been close friends with many demon clans hundreds of years ago. could it be that the demon elder in front of him was specially invited by the holy envoy to pick him up? Just as he was hesitant and considering whether to say hello to the other party, this demon elder was the first to say hello. However, the way the other party said hello was a little unfriendly. Swish, a huge bloody slash tore through the air, whistling in with a piercing whistle, like a hot knife cutting wax. It cut the corpse king in two with one blow. The terrifying power of the bloody slash made Gu Cheng and the middle-aged scholar gasp. However, what puzzled the two was, why did this innate demon wearing magic armor suddenly attack Gu Cheng? Could it be that, this demon is actually a friendly army, that just when the mood of the two was like a roller coaster, up and down, Gu Cheng stared at the rotten meat in front of him that was split in two, his face full of disgust. This old Bieji is really a thing, he has two more heads than Danyangzi. Can't these demons of the Wangxing sect have some aesthetic taste that normal people should have? Gu Cheng secretly complained in his heart and was about to go forward to continue to finish off the monster. The next moment, he saw countless flesh buds suddenly emerge from the cuts of the two parts of the monster's body, intertwined together, and spliced the two parts together. In the blink of an eye, the wounds on the corpse king were restored to their original state. You are looking for death. Zheng Tianlu's 5 head stared at Gu Cheng with a hideous expression, as if he was completely enraged by the latter's behavior. He patted his belly with his hand, and a bloody mouth opened on his fat belly. He took a deep breath and suddenly spurted out a black poisonous smoke, with an indescribable stench, sweeping towards Gu Cheng. As the poisonous smoke spread, the flowers, plants and trees planted in the Jing family compound withered and died in an instant, gradually turning into a pool of pus. Even the bluestone floor on the ground was corroded by the poisonous smoke and emitted green smoke. What kind of evil method is this? Zhao Qianhu and the middle-aged scholar who were watching the battle not far away were shocked. They hurriedly flew back nearly 20 feet, and then barely reached a safe area. Facing this strange poisonous fog, Gu Cheng not only did not dodge, but rushed in with a blood knife in hand. Humph! You're courting death. This corpse poison is the innate magical power I gained after I was promoted to the Xiantian realm. Even the Xiantian body protection chi of the Xiantian realm grandmaster can't resist the erosion of this corpse poison. This damn guy is definitely dead. 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 Zheng Tianlu's 5 heads shouted crazily, their eyes full of mockery. However, as soon as he finished speaking, Gu Cheng's body shadow suddenly rushed out of the poisonous fog. His magic armor flashed with dark red evil light, and he was completely unscathed under the erosion of the corpse poisonous fog. How is it possible? Zheng Tianlu's 5 heads suddenly widened their eyes and screamed. At the same time, he waved his arms, and 8 thick and powerful arms instantly stretched out more than 10 feet long. Like a violent storm, he smashed towards Gu Cheng. The power of the innate realm corpse king is so terrifying that it even exceeds that of ordinary body-refining cultivators. A casual attack can turn a demon in the mortal realm into a pool of blood mist. However, Gu Cheng still did not dodge, and rushed forward straight, allowing those heavy punches to fall on him like raindrops. Under the strong defense of the dark blood magic armor, this weak attack is just a tickle. Not only was he unharmed, but he also shattered the corpse king's 8 palms into a bloody mess. What kind of turtle shell is this? Zheng Tianlu was shocked and angry, and his emotions became more and more crazy. With such amazing defense, could that magic armor be some kind of top-grade magic weapon? Without waiting for him to make any more moves, Gu Cheng had already rushed to the front of the corpse king, waving the dark blood blade in his hand wantonly. Swish, swish, swish. Under those extremely sharp bloody slashes, in an instant, this huge and ugly monster was dismembered by Gu Cheng and dismantled into tiny parts all over the ground. The dark red poisonous blood flowed wantonly, making the ground a mess, emitting a disgusting stench. Old Su, do you think that ghost thing is dead? Captain Zhao was hiding in the distance and observing secretly. Seeing that the minced meat on the ground was almost enough to make dumplings, he couldn't help but ask. I'm afraid it's not that simple. The middle-aged scholar next to him shook his head gently, and his elegant and easygoing face was so gloomy that it seemed like water could drip out. According to the records in an ancient book, the innate corpse king of the rebirth sect is invulnerable to water and fire, and is difficult to be injured by swords and knives, almost equivalent to an immortal body. Besides, Jing Tianlu also possesses a rare treasure such as the blood skull helmet. Ordinary means of attack may be even more difficult to cause harm to him. As if it was specially designed to confirm old Su's guess, swish, that a dazzling scarlet light column rose into the sky again, covering the dark night with a touch of blood. Under the illumination of this blood-red light, the scattered corpses of Jing Tianlu merged together again and turned into a hideous and terrifying corpse king, and compared with before, his body size has expanded again. The evil aura emanating from his body has become more violent and cruel than before. Ha 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 ha. This is the real immortal body. You are indeed very strong. But you still can't kill me. Turn into the nutrients for me to apply for immortality and longevity. Nourishment. Nutrition. Jing Tianlu's 5 heads shouted loudly, and his spirit became more and more crazy. At the same time, he opened the bloody mouth on his abdomen and bit Gu Cheng hard, trying to swallow him in one bite. Nourishment. Humph, you are my nourishment. Gu Cheng flew back and distanced himself from the monster. Under the heavy dark blood demon armor, his eyes suddenly became dangerous. Since ordinary means of attack are difficult to work, at this point, he could only use his best trick. Gu Cheng took a deep breath, dispersed the blood knife, and raised his right hand. A dark red lightning flashed on the ferocious and domineering hand armor. In an instant, the air around him became sticky inexplicably. A heart-pounding breath of destruction began to brew in the air. It seemed that some extremely terrifying existence was about to descend on the battlefield. Chapter 70. You are listening at novelfull.audio. What is he doing? Zhao Qianhu stared at the blood-colored lightning on the mysterious man's hand with his eyes wide open, and then his eyes slowly moved upwards. Somehow, he suddenly felt a heart-pounding breath of destruction from mid-air. At the same time, his messy hair couldn't help but curl up. Is he going to use thunder magic? Old Su noticed the changes in Zhao Qianhu's hair, and his expression changed slightly, exclaiming. But he is a master of magic, and he is born with a mismatch with thunder magic. How could he use thunder magic? Boom 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 dash dash. As soon as the middle-aged scholar finished speaking, a dull thunder came from mid-air. Blood-colored thunder began to surge in the sky, like ferocious blood dragons, emitting a heart-pounding breath of terror, and under the control of a pair of invisible hands, it gradually gathered into a huge phantom of a beast head. Just ahead, it is more than 10 feet long, much larger than the innate corpse king on the ground. Deer antlers, dragon scales, long beards, sharp teeth, animal pupils, all the details are clearly visible, lifelike, emitting dazzling blood-colored lightning. It is like a unicorn beast head made of blood evil thunder. Ah! The blood unicorn opened its mouth and roared in the sky, bringing up rolling thunder. A terrifying evil spirit rushed straight into the sky, spreading in all directions like a tsunami. Even the entire Chang'e County was trembling. Feeling the magnificent power in the roar, the pig monsters and wolf monsters that were rampaging in the South City were instantly frightened and dazed. The human warriors who fought with them immediately seized the opportunity to hack these monsters that were in a daze to death. Then, the lieutenants of the Demon Suppression Division and the martial artists all looked over, staring at the blood-colored Qilin shining with lightning in the air. They were shocked. What on earth is that? A centurion of the Demon Suppression Division swallowed hard, his eyes full of fear and dread. Even though they were far away, he still felt a heart-pounding breath of destruction from the blood-colored thunder. And the corpse king Jing Tianlu, who was firmly locked by this move, collapsed to the ground under the terrifying pressure that seemed to be real. After turning himself into a zombie, this monster that was not human-like had long lost its sense of pain and lost its perception of cold, hot, sour and sweet. But now, Jing Tianlu felt the fear of falling into an ice cave again. I will die. I will die. Jing Tianlu's 5 heads all showed horror on their faces, and his body instinctively wanted to escape. Unfortunately, everything was too late. Dissipate along with the thunder. Gu Cheng's eyes were cold, and he locked onto the corpse king in front of him with his mind. At the same time, he swung his right hand downwards violently, and the blood evil power contained in his body broke out completely. Blood Kirin Wrath. Ah! The blood unicorn in the sky roared again, with a heart-pounding breath of destruction. It fell down with a bang, it opened its mouth and bit the strange and alien innate corpse king in one bite. After biting hard twice, it exploded instantly. Boom! The dark red lightning tore through the darkness, illuminating the dark night as bright as day. The violent explosion shook the sky and the earth, and even the entire south city of Changle County trembled violently. A shock wave visible to the naked eye, like a surging wave, spread out instantly, and collapsed most of the houses in the Jing family compound. Even though Captain Zhao and the middle-aged scholar were hiding 100 meters away, they were almost blown away by the aftermath of the thunder. They were so frightened that they quickly stabbed the ground with their swords and knives to fix their bodies. When everything settled down, the two of them brushed off the dust on their bodies, looked ahead, and suddenly widened their eyes. Under the thunder of the bloody unicorn, Jing Tianlu's corpse king body, which was as big as a hill, had completely disappeared. Instead, there was a huge deep pit and a few charred debris scattered in the pit. The air was filled with a burnt smell after the lightning struck the air. Even if there was only a remaining breath, it still made people terrified. After being struck by lightning like this, no matter how powerful the Xiantian corpse king is, he must have died without a burial place, right? Captain Zhao and the middle-aged scholar looked at each other, then turned to look at the tall figure wearing magic armor. Their eyes were filled with shock. Who is this person? His aura is more demonic than that of a demon, but he can use such a powerful mutant thunder method. When did such a mysterious master of magic appear in this small piece of land in Tianshui County? Killing the Xiantian realm beginner-level evil cultivator, obtain lifespan, 521 years. Gu Cheng glanced at the prompt on the panel and confirmed that the target was completely dead, and he couldn't help but breathe a sigh of relief. Although the corpse transformation secret method of the rebirth sect doesn't look very good, its terrifying recovery ability is really difficult to deal with. If it weren't for the Su family's thunder method, which just happened to restrain these demons and evil spirits, he really couldn't kill this monster. At this time, a strong sense of weakness came like a tide. The dark blood demon armor on Gu Cheng's body also dissipated, revealing his figure wearing a black robe and a bronze mask. The power of this blood-scale fury is unparalleled. I'm afraid there are few enemies in the Xiantian realm, but corresponding to it, its consumption is too amazing. In the future, unless you are facing an extremely difficult enemy, it is better to use this trick as little as possible. Gu Cheng concluded in his heart. Then he calmed down and began to use his mind to sense the surroundings to see if there were any spoils of war after the corpse king died. Gu Cheng actually didn't have any expectations. After all, the power of this blood-evil demon thunder far exceeded ordinary thunder magic. Even if the other party really had some treasures, it would have been completely destroyed under the magnificent power of heaven. Unexpectedly, he actually found something. Huh? What is this thing? Gu Cheng looked surprised, stretched out his hand, and performed telekinesis. In the big pit blasted by the blood scale, a blood-colored skull-shaped helmet flew out and fell into his hands. This helmet was blood-red all over, as if it was infused with blood. It was not a serious thing at first glance. Gu Cheng took it in his hand and looked at it for a moment, and inexplicably had an urge to wear it on his head, but he quickly restrained it. What a weird thing. This should also be a magic weapon of the rebirth sect, right? Gu Cheng frowned. For a moment, he couldn't figure out the use of this strange helmet, but it was intact in the lightning strike just now, so it must be an ordinary item, so he put it in the storage bag for the time being. That's it, the three most important enemies have all been killed by Gu Cheng himself. This sudden crisis tonight also came to an end without any danger. Now the remaining demons in Changle County are all insignificant little characters. It is estimated that it will not take long before they will be cleaned up by colleagues of the Demon Suppression Department and those martial artists. However, no matter how small this mosquito leg is, it is still meat. It's not easy for so many demons to come to the door. Gu Cheng naturally can't miss this good opportunity to eat buffet. Immediately, his figure flashed, and he disappeared quietly like a ghost, and began to search for those who had escaped the net. At the same time, with Zheng Tianlu, the culprit, being blown to ashes by the bombardment of the bloody demon thunder, those zombies that pretended to be dead under the shining blood light also lost their response. All fell to the ground, unable to get up again. Is it over? Sun Yanshua stared at the zombies lying on the ground, and couldn't help but let out a long sigh, and put the talisman in her hand back into the storage bag. Obviously, the lightning strike just now had completely solved the corpse king of the rebirth sect. She looked up into the distance, recalling the blood-colored thunder that had just destroyed the world. Under the bronze mask, a strange color flashed in a pair of beautiful amber eyes. Strange? How could the breath of that blood-colored thunder be so similar to the thunder method of my Su family? Su Nianxua frowned slightly. If the blood thunder unicorn hadn't looked too ferocious and evil just now, she even suspected that this was the innate master of her Yunzhou Su family who came to exorcise demons. Where did he learn the thunder method from? To be able to practice the thunder method to such a high level, who is this mysterious master of the magic? Su Nianxue was puzzled. She felt that it was necessary to go home and tell the elders of the family about this matter.